living according to nature. Imagine you're sitting by a window on a quiet evening, watching rain fall in steady patterns against the glass. Each drop follows the path of least resistance, finding its way down without struggle or complaint. You notice how the water doesn't argue with gravity, doesn't resist the surface it meets, yet somehow carves valleys through mountains over time. What if the secret to a meaningful life lies not in fighting against our circumstances, but in discovering how to flow with them as naturally as that rain? Here lies one of the most beautiful paradoxes in Stoic philosophy. To live according to nature means both accepting what we cannot control and fully exercising what we can. On the surface, this seems contradictory. How can we be both accepting and active, both surrendering and powerful? The ancient Stoics understood something profound about human nature that modern life often obscures, that our greatest strength emerges not from opposition, but from alignment. You begin to see this paradox everywhere once you look for it. A tree doesn't fight the wind, it bends with it, yet its roots grow deeper with each storm. The tree exercises its nature by growing toward light and extending its roots toward water, while simultaneously accepting the weather it cannot change. In the same way, you have aspects of your humanity that are fixed, your temperament, your past, the family you were born into, and aspects that remain entirely within your influence, your responses, your choices, your daily habits. Consider how this plays out in a difficult conversation with someone you love. On one hand, you cannot control their words, their mood, or their decision to listen. Their reactions belong entirely to them, shaped by experiences and perspectives you may never fully understand. On the other hand, you have complete control over your tone, your patience, your willingness to understand. Living according to nature means accepting their autonomy while fully inhabiting your own. The Stoics taught that human beings are naturally rational and social creatures. This means our nature calls us toward both clear thinking and genuine connection with others. When you find yourself caught in anger or anxiety, you're often fighting against one of these natural tendencies. Anger clouds rational thought. Isolation cuts you off from the community that nourishes your soul. Yet the path back to your nature isn't through force or self-criticism, but through gentle redirection, like a gardener guiding a vine toward sunlight. You might wonder what this looks like in the ordinary moments of daily life. Living according to nature means responding to a traffic jam with curiosity rather than rage, recognizing that your anger cannot move the cars ahead, but can certainly move your blood pressure. It means accepting that your teenager will make mistakes while still offering guidance when appropriate. It means acknowledging that you will age and change while taking care of your body and mind today. There's something deeply comforting in this approach. You realize that you're not responsible for controlling the uncontrollable, yet you're fully empowered to shape what lies within your influence. This division isn't always clear at first. Sometimes you discover through gentle experimentation that you have more influence than you thought, perhaps in how you communicate with a difficult colleague. Sometimes you realize you have less control than you believed, perhaps in how quickly your body heals or how others perceive your intentions. The ancient philosopher Epictetus, who understood constraint intimately as someone who had lived in slavery, taught that freedom comes not from having no limitations, but from understanding exactly where your limitations lie. When you know precisely what you can and cannot influence, you stop wasting energy pushing against immovable walls and instead direct that same energy toward what can actually change. Your focus shifts from fighting reality to dancing with it. This doesn't mean becoming passive or resigned. The river that carves the canyon is not passive. It simply works with gravity rather than against it. Your nature as a human being includes the capacity for choice, for growth, for connection. Exercising these capacities fully is part of accepting your nature, not separate from it. You can be both peaceful and purposeful, both accepting and ambitious. Consider how this wisdom applies to the goals you carry. Living according to nature means setting intentions based on what you can influence rather than what you hope to control. You can influence your preparation for an important presentation, your willingness to practice, your decision to rest beforehand. You cannot control the technical difficulties that might arise, the mood of your audience, or whether your ideas will be accepted. When your goals align with your actual sphere of influence, they become sources of energy rather than anxiety. The deeper you explore this paradox, the more you realize it's really about trust. Trust in the fundamental intelligence of existence. The same forces that guide planets in their orbits and seasons in their cycles also flow through your life. This doesn't mean everything that happens is good, but it suggests that resistance often creates more suffering than acceptance combined with skillful action. You begin to see how this applies to your internal landscape as well. Your emotions arise naturally, like weather systems moving through an open sky. Living according to nature means neither suppressing these feelings nor being controlled by them. Instead, you learn to observe them with gentle curiosity, allowing them to inform you without overwhelming you. Sadness teaches you what matters. Anger reveals your values. Fear shows you what feels precious and vulnerable. Perhaps the most beautiful aspect of living according to nature is how it connects you with something larger than your individual concerns. You're part of the same creative intelligence that orchestrates migrations and seasons, that guides healing and growth throughout the natural world. Your struggles and joys, your questions and insights, all arise from the same source that moves rivers toward oceans and seeds toward light. When you remember this connection, daily challenges begin to feel less personal and more universal. The difficulty you're facing with a relationship, a health concern, or a career decision becomes part of the larger human experience rather than evidence of your individual failing. You can address these challenges with both seriousness and perspective, caring deeply while holding lightly. As you settle into this understanding, you might notice a gentle shift in how you meet each day. Instead of bracing against what might go wrong, you find yourself curious about how you'll respond to whatever arises. Instead of demanding that life conform to your expectations, you become interested in discovering what your nature looks like when expressed through today's particular circumstances. The paradox resolves not through understanding, but through living it. Each time you choose your response while accepting what you cannot change, you embody this ancient wisdom. Each moment of exercising your nature while flowing with life's currents deepens your trust in this way of being. It's not about solving the paradox of control and acceptance. It's about noticing how naturally they dance together when you stop insisting they're separate.